You're listening to Wealth at Work, a show designed to help advisors think, make decisions, and cast a vision to create a business for the future. Hosted by financial planner, author, speaker, and CEO of Advisor2X, Ross Marino.
John Sullivan back on the show. Hey, John.
Hey, Ross. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I am good. Glad you're on the show. And as always, glad the 401k Specialist magazine is a partner, our exclusive media partner for Wealth at Work. And one of my favorite parts of Wealth at Work is the TAPO Awards that you guys started years ago. Can you give us some quick background on the TAPO?
TAPO Awards. Yeah, it's one of those things where, every media publication seems to have their top dogs in the space. And it was one of those things where we said to ourselves, well, at the end of the day, having assets under management, assets under advisement, and being, the top of the list, how does that really serve the end user? And so what we did was we wanted to come up with some other way to measure who's doing it right within the industry. And it was actually our friends at Whitman, believe it or not, that came up with, well, why don't you measure it by participant outcomes? And we thought that was a great idea. It's a little bit easier said than done. We went to Morningstar and we went to Alicia Munell at the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, and they gave us great ideas, but it's still a little hard to measure. So we do like the quantitative measurements, but we also love the anecdotes about when these guys just knocked it out of the park for a plan sponsor and participants. And so, the TAPO Awards are something that happens on a monthly basis. We profile them on the website, e-newsletters, and within the magazine. And then there is one overall annual top advisor by participant outcome. We call it designee, not winner, because how do you really measure it? It's almost like it's the Academy Awards. It's very subjective in that regard. And so we don't like to diminish the monthly TAPOs while we're at the show, but nonetheless, we do award an overall annual recognition as well. But we get everybody up on stage, as you know, and we celebrate them and we celebrate the industry and how they're raising the bar for all of us.
Yeah, I love that they're involved. I love that they share what they're doing. It's a very open group of people, has been every year. They love to share, they love to talk. Even though they've all been in the business for quite a while and they're all successful, they don't all think alike. And I know you have a couple sessions where you're doing the interviewing, and I looked at the first one and I kind of chuckled because it was about target date funds and stress testing them. And I thought, nothing quite like a bear market to stress test whatever you're doing. So how's that session going to go?
Yeah, what is it? Warren Buffett was the one that said that when the tide goes out, we see who's swimming naked. Now, I think he might have been talking about options, obviously, but we'll just take it as kind of, all of the investment products that are out there, which works and those that don't. So we've been hearing so much about how target date funds might have just a little bit too much risk in the glide path. And we're getting more and more of that now. And so with everything that's happening with, as you know, sequence of returns and inflation and everything that's happening out there, we're going to just take a look at target date funds and how they're holding up. It seemed like they did pretty well in 2008. Everybody seems, at least from a behavioral standpoint, it kept people invested through the market shock. And I think it's probably doing the same now in terms of keeping people on track and staying the course. But are they doing what they're supposed to do in terms of outcomes? That's something that's going to be pretty interesting.
Well, as we've learned, all target date funds are not made alike. And I think we could probably say the same for ESG funds. And title to one of your sessions is ESG D.O.A. I started laughing immediately. I figured, well, there's typical John Sullivan. It's a passionate topic. So I just got to ask, are we going to see some fireworks from some of the TAPO finalists?
I think next year I'm going to talk about politics and religion as well. Might as well just throw it in there, right? Yeah. Yes, ESG, as you said, is a passionate topic. I've already gotten some blowback on the name of the topic, as you mentioned. But it's just funny how fast everything is happening, Ross. And that to me is just amazing. In our third quarter issue last year, it was the one with the Retireaholics guys on the cover, we had a story that said, "Can anything stop ESG?" And here we are this year, and we're talking about the blowback, and it's mainly political, and I understand that, but nonetheless, with inflation, with soaring prices, with everything that's happening, the war in Ukraine, it gives people an opportunity to push back a little bit, and boy, are they. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and see if it really still holds up as a strategy. I think it's something that's fantastic, and I want to try everything I can to make it work, but we have to make sure that it's the real deal. So as you said, people are lining up on both sides, and it should make for a very, very interesting discussion about how they fit in the portfolio for the benefit of the participants.
Never a dull moment when John Sullivan is asking questions.
There you go.
Look forward to seeing you out in October at Wealth at Work, John.
Thank you, Ross, as always. Love the partnership.
Thank you for listening to Wealth at Work. The information covered and posted represents the views of the guests and does not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Advisor 2X. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investment advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.